9.3, the converse of the Pythagorean theorem. The converse of the Pythagorean theorem states that if a squared plus b squared equals c squared, then that shows it is a right triangle. So it's backwards, the Pythagorean theorem. The Pythagorean theorem says if it's a right triangle, then that's true. So going the other way also works. So for example, remember A and B are the legs. They're going to be our shorter sides. So 10 and 7 are our shorter sides. So if we say 10 squared plus 7 squared, if that equals 13.4 squared, then this is a right triangle. 10 squared is 100, 7 squared is 49, and 13.4 squared is 179, 0.56. So 149, 179, those are not equal. So this is not a right triangle. Here, if you need to check what this is a decimal, is this longer than 12? Make sure you set it up right. So 6 times the square root of 5, I'll figure that out first. I'm going to have to clear this. I think I have to hit 5 first and then hit the square root on this calculator. And STU, sorry, I should have found this first. I don't use it very often. It's up here. The square root of that is 2.23 times that by 6. And this is about 13.41. So this is our potential hypotenuse. It's our longest side. So once again, we're going to take 6 squared plus 12 squared. Does that equal 6 times the square root of 5 squared? Notice this whole thing is being squared. 6 squared is 36. 12 squared is 144. And 6 times the square root of 5 is the same thing as 6 squared times the square root of 5 squared. 6 squared is 36. Square root of 5 squared is 5. Square and square root undo each other. Well, 36 plus 144, that's going to be 180. And 36 times 5, 5 times 30 is 150, plus another 6 times 5, 30, 150, and 30 make 180. So yes, this would be a right triangle. Now these next two theorems, we can use the Pythagorean theorem to specify whether the triangle is acute or obtuse. Okay, so we're going to use it the same way. These are our potential legs. So we'll say 8 squared plus 18 squared. And we're going to put over here 24 squared. Now, 8 squared, 64. 18 squared is 324. And 24 squared is 576. Add those together, we're going to get 388, 576. So now we stop and ask ourselves, okay, the hypotenuse, was that too long? So the hypotenuse is too big in this case. Okay, so if you imagine drawing a triangle, here's my two legs. If my hypotenuse is too long, what kind of triangle is it? Hypotenuse is too big, it's obtuse. And now in the next one, 3.2 squared plus 4.8 squared is, and then 5.1 squared. Move those into the calculator. 3.2 squared is 10.24. 4.8 squared is 23.04. And 5.1 squared is 26.01. Adding these up, we're going to be over this, so this one is too big. So this time, our hypotenuse is too small, right? It's smaller than the legs. So if the hypotenuse is too small, imagine drawing in a triangle where the hypotenuse is not big enough. This is going to be a acute triangle. And now this last one, if you look at this, what are we going to do? Well, you might start with 4 squared plus 4 squared, and then putting 10 squared over here. You get 16 plus 16, and this is 100. Well, obviously, 100's too big. So, is this, if the hypotenuse is too big, what does that mean? You might want to say that it's, if the hypotenuse is too big, that it's obtuse. But that's not the right answer. This one's not obtuse because this is not a triangle. Remember, the triangle inequality theorem says that the two shorter sides have to be greater than the longest side. And so these 4 and 4, a little 4 length side and a little 4 length side, and a length of 10, we can't make a triangle out of those 3 segments. Next question, you want to make sure a wall of a room is rectangular. A friend measures 4 sides to be 9 feet, 9 feet, 40 feet, and 40 feet. He says these measurements prove that the wall is rectangular. Is he correct? Now, if you remember, a parallelogram, your opposite sides are parallel. This could be 9, that could be 9. So just measuring the lengths of the sides is not enough because it could be a parallelogram. But if you suggest that the measure of one of the diagonals is 41 feet, could we be sure enough that it's a rectangle? So now you measure that diagonal to be 41. This to be 9 and this to be 40. Now does that make it a right triangle? Well, you can 9 squared plus 40 squared. Does that equal 41 squared? This is 81. This should be 1600. And we can double check what 41 squared is. 1681. So this is a right triangle, which means that this is a rectangle. Here's your homework assignment. If you got questions on this, ask me in class. See you then.